welcome back dear viewers. Now as you all know, during Ramadan, changes in eating patterns, meal timing and sleep routines can have a noticeable impact on the digestive system. Many people experience symptoms such as heartburn, bloating, constipation and stomach discomfort during fasting. In today's discussion, we focus on how fasting affects digestive and digesting common digestive problems seen in Ramadan and practical medical advice to help people fast more comfortably and safely. With that being said, we welcome Dr. Abdulaziz Almudaires, ABIM, FRCPC, gastroenterology, and advanced endoscopy specialist. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Now, I think the question that begs, asking is that what are the most common digestive problems we see in a lot of people during Ramadan?
Yes, so Ramadan is a good opportunity to focus on our health. However, sometimes it's a time of medical flares. So for example, people with constipation can suffer of worsened constipation. People with heartburn, chronic gastroesophageal reflux can also experience symptoms as well. Additionally, people who are on medications for other gastrointestinal problems can have problems or symptoms, especially on the initial few days of Ramadan.
And also, how does fasting play a role in all of this? Like, where does it come along in the digestive, system during Ramadan?
Yes, fasting provides a time off or a break for the gastrointestinal system to restore its function, recover from certain problems, and rebalance its microbiota, which is basically the balance between beneficial and not necessarily beneficial microorganisms and bacteria.
But there are a lot of people, and I say, my older uncles, whenever after iftar finishes, they're like all laying down. It's like, Andi haraj, I can't eat, I can't even drink water. So we see a lot of people who have, acid refluxes and heartburns after iftar, especially during Ramadan. Like, what causes that?
Yes, so there are two categories of people who would suffer from heartburn or reflux. One are the people who are dependent on medications for heartburn. They would experience symptoms, especially on the first few days of Ramadan, because of the time change in the medication, and eating at night, eating before or just before bedtime can also have worsened symptoms. The second category are people who don't necessarily experience heartburn regularly. However, during Ramadan, due to the routine change, for example, time of meals, quality or types of food that we consume, the fact that we're eating a similar amount of food during a narrow period of time, and also the fact that we're eating suhoor very late, just before bedtime, and usually heavy meals. These factors can increase heartburn and can worsen heartburn that existed before Ramadan.
So is there a way to prevent having these heartburns during Ramadan?
Yes, so for people who are on medications, say adjusting medication timing, you can also consult your medical professional. But in general, if you're taking medication once a day, just take it at the time of iftar. Just drink a sip of water, take the medication, and have your meal. You may have difficulty the first 2-3 days of Ramadan, but later on your body would adjust and you'll feel fine. Dietary restrictions, I'd say, depend on what exacerbates your symptoms. So for example, if spices, caffeine worsen your symptoms, just try to avoid them or at least minimize consuming them. Try not to eat right before bedtime. Have your big meal 2-3 hours before bedtime, and maybe for suhoor just have a small snack. And for people who still have symptoms, try to elevate the head of the bed when you go to sleep. Sometimes just lying flat can actually worsen your reflux, as food and acid will just reflex back to the esophagus.
And also, we've had you on a previous episode where we've gone deeply into IBS, but does fasting in particular have, negative or positive effects on IBS?
Yes, mostly positive effects. For many people with IBS would experience bloating. So during fasting hours, you'll probably have some sort of relief or improvement in this regard. For people with constipation, fasting is not necessarily harmful or would worsen your symptoms. However, we should be cognizant that we are not drinking enough water during Ramadan because of the narrow futur or iftar time.
Yeah.
So try to remind yourself to drink water. As long as you're drinking enough water, consuming a good amount of fiber, fasting would have a positive impact on your health in general and your GI system. Additionally, fasting will also have a positive impact on your energy level, would usually reflect on your ability to exercise. So exercising is very helpful for IBS and would positively impact your health.
Now, I love how you highlighted how constipation and bloating happen to a lot of people during Ramadan. And I know, for a lot of people, the constipation, we've elaborated that it's due to a lack of, drinking a lot of water or not having so many fiber in their food. So people can amend that with those two things. But when it comes to bloating, a lot of people don't know why it happens. What causes it?
Yes, especially in Ramadan, as you mentioned, constipation can be a problem. So constipation by itself can worsen bloating. That's one reason. The second reason why bloating would worsen is the types of food that we consume.
Yeah.
So for example, we consume a lot of carbohydrates that can produce gases, especially lactose. And we know that a lot of sweets contain milk, and lactose is a main product in milk. The other reason is the amount of food we consume. So we know that during Ramadan we have a limited period of time to eat. So if we eat a lot in a short period of time, we would experience some bloating.
Yeah.
So my advice is watch what you eat. If something triggers your symptoms, try to avoid it. It's okay to experiment, and we're not the same. Some people would experience problems with milk, others not necessarily.
Yeah.
So just experiment and see, and limit your intake. So if you want some sweet, that's fine. Just don't eat too much.
Don't eat. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yes.
Is don't eat too much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, speaking of eating too much, because there's a dilemma, I think, when it comes to Ramadan. For a lot of people, they know that your body needs a lot of food. You are being calorie restricted for a lot of time. So there's the dilemma is that after iftar, people don't know whether they should eat, heavy or eat light. Where is the equation there?
Yes. So never eat heavy. So light is a bit relative. So my light is different than yours, and everyone is different basically. So I'd say you don't need a lot of food. The main problem in Ramadan is water. People are more dehydrated, and this can cause problems, including constipation. Eating lighter would prevent or minimize bloating. It will make you feel better in general and more energetic. On the contrary, eating too much or eating heavy can actually cause a lot of problems, whether they're like gastrointestinal or just medical in general. So as a rule of thumb, just eat until you're almost full, not necessarily full.
Yeah.
And you don't have to eat 3 meals a day in Ramadan. Just have your iftar and maybe a snack or some sweets, and have your suhoor.
It is. Now, because we are running a little bit out of time, I do want to leave you with one last question, is that if you were to pick just one, one important thing, one dietary habit for a lot of people to do during Ramadan, especially when it comes to fasting, when it comes to their digestive systems, like what would that be?
That's a very good question. Thank you for that. So, say the first and most important advice is drink a lot of water or plenty of water and liquids to avoid dehydration, as it's a very common problem in Ramadan. The second advice is you don't have to eat a lot. Limit the sizes of your meals. Your body does not need a lot of food. Just need enough calories, and our diet in Ramadan is basically calorie rich, so we eat a lot of carbs anyways. So try to minimize the sizes of your meals. And the third advice is try to avoid eating at bedtime. So make your last meal the day 2-3 hours before bedtime, and maybe have a little snack at the suhoor time, and that would be enough.
I think that's great advice. Like they say, when it comes to everything is in moderation. That's where the optimal equation is. And again, Dr. Abdulaziz Almudaires, I'd like to thank you for being our guest today, dedicating the time out of your day for joining us on Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Abdulaziz Almudaires, ABIM, FRCPC, gastroenterology, and advanced endoscopy specialist. We are going to take a break, so stay tuned.